What's up, Dextards? Welcome to the first episode of our Dexter Original Sin episode breakdowns and Easter egg recaps. We finally have episode 1 of Original Sin and In the Beginning, and I don't want to waste any more time. I want to get into talking about it, so let's have it. We open on a quick recap of the ending of New Blood, with Dexter having been shot by Harrison. The doctors miraculously get Dexter's heartbeat going yet again, and we get a flashback to Laura Moser giving birth, who Dexter fans will know as Dexter's biological mother. We haven't seen Laura Moser since, I think, season 2 of the original show, in the episode The Dark Defender. I wonder if we'll see more of Laura Moser in flashbacks later in the show, and maybe a young Brian. Again, that's just a guess. We'll have to wait and see. After that, we get the intro for Original Sin, which invokes the style of the original intro for the show, with the same logo and music. It's just an extended version of the one we saw a few months back with the teaser. After the intro, we see Dexter performing what appears to be a post-mortem or something. I'm not too sure, I'm not a doctor. This is some new lore to the show, as we learn that before Blood Spatter, our beloved serial killer wanted to be a surgeon, but unfortunately he didn't feel anything. It just wasn't gory enough to satisfy his taste. And right after that, we get to see our first shot of that beautiful original hairstyle that Dexter had. Okay, so little Easter egg here. When Dexter is told to think of something that makes him happy while taking his graduation photo, he thinks of the novel American Psycho. This is an obvious callback to when he used Patrick Bateman's name to order M99 for his kills. Well, a call forward, I guess, because in timeline-wise he would. You know what I mean. Then we get a scene introducing us to a bunch of younger versions of characters we love, such as Masuka, Batista, and Harry, as well as meeting some new characters like Sarah Michelle Gellar's character and Patrick Dempsey's character, who is the captain. I don't know if this is Matthews, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And we also meet Reno Wilson's character. Anyway, it's time for dinner at the Morgan's household, and that night we get to meet the younger Debra Morgan. The actress portraying her here is absolutely, brilliant. She nails it. I mean, Deb's first line has her cussing, so thank God we didn't get rid of her main attribute. Over dinner, the Morgans discuss Dexter's need to get out more, and the fact that being a surgeon seamlessly isn't going to satisfy his urges. At a careers fair, Dexter discovers his new life goal, that being blood spatter, and we see how much of a perv Masuka really is, even photographing one woman who ignores him. I really love how true they stay to these characters, but right now they do seem somewhat one note, so hopefully as this series does progress, we'll see three-dimensional rounded versions that we know from the original show. Dexter's surprisingly ushered away from the booth from a horny Masuka, who completely ignores that Dexter has just rightfully guessed that Miami has a serial killer on the loose, which we see confirmed from our Miami Metro sequence. Our prospective serial killer is a man named Levi Reed, who in fact is not a serial killer at all, as later confirmed by the episode. In this pilot episode for Original Sin, we actually get to see Dexter's scrapbook of serial killers, something brought up in the original show when he took on the Tooth Theory, aka Walter Kenny. As Deb busts in to force Dexter to go to a party, he wonders if he too will get a nickname. This is an obvious foreshadowing to the Bay Harbor Butcher moniker he will soon gain. When Deb falls victim to a creep at the party, Dexter quickly runs to her rescue and gets to use some of those mixed martial arts skills we know he learned at college and which were often used in the original series, much to the dismay of people like Dokes. Thankfully, right as Dexter is about to let his homicidal tendencies win on this rapist, he's thrown out because killing an unarmed guy in front of a group of people would certainly have put an end to his dreams of being a blood spatter and a blood spiller. Flashing back, we learn that before both Deb and Dexter were about, Harry and Doris Morgan had a child named Junior who drowned. This is new lore, and I mean, it adds some character to the dynamic of Harry and Dexter. I mean, this guilt clearly ate at Harry, and because he wasn't paying attention to his own son, which means when he does take Dexter in, it's for more than just his affair with Laura Moser. While on a hunting trip, Dexter admits to his father that animals just aren't enough anymore, and that he wants to start using the code. It is while on this trip that Harry's heart starts playing up, which we knew was going to happen based on the original series. Harry's rushed to the hospital, and eagle-eyed fans will know that this is the beginning of Dexter's first kill, the nurse, a woman purposely doping up patients to kill them. While investigating Nurse Mary, Dexter says that he has always had a kinship with cats, finding them to be nature's own serial killer. You could interpret this as a play on something he said in the original series about dogs not liking him, and more specifically, not liking what he does to their masters. We get a recreation of the scene in the original show where Dexter tells Nurse Mary Harry doesn't want the shot, and that gives us our first mention of the Dark Passenger in Original Sin via Michael C. Hall's narration. We see Dexter setting up the kill room for Nurse Mary, and the narration finally uttered that oh so iconic line, "Tonight's the night." I can't wait for us to see Patrick Gibson's version of Dexter saying this line. It's going to be so cool. Anyway, the recreation of Mary's kill is very accurate, right down to Dexter's raincoat ensemble and how he scrambles with her because she's inexperienced. Dexter finally goes through with the kill, but unfortunately misses Deb's volleyball game in the process. And this is the first of many times we're going to see our main man miss out on something because he just can't control his urges. But that doesn't matter because that iconic blood theme kicks in, and boy did I get shivers. Dexter hasn't yet discovered the art of dismembering the body and dumping it in trash bags, so Nurse Mary meets her burial by a group of alligators. This does technically mean that early cuts is no longer canon now, as in that version of events, Dexter burns his first victims before discovering his love for the Bay Harbor. But Dexter did stick to one thing he had in his original ritual in the show, and that being a trophy. In this instance, it ends up being Nurse Mary's earrings and not a blood slide, but we move. The episode ends with Dexter getting a job opportunity at Miami Metro, cutting his horrible mop off, and graduating from college, and Harry luckily survives his run-in with Nurse Mary. So, that was episode 1 of Dexter Original Sin, and in the beginning. What do we all think? I want to know your thoughts and opinions down below. What did you think of some of the connections I made to the original show and predictions for what we can see? I want to hear all the discussion, so just let me know. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. I will see you next week for episode 2.